Yay, hello, and welcome to this week Training Tuesday live. We're magnet marketers. Our goal is always to help become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. And today we are talking all about some new social media updates and even a new-ish social media app that's caught quite a buzz and lots of news articles called Parler. So we'll be breaking down kind of the pros that we've seen, the cons that could be there that we've seen, and just giving you the nitty gritty so you know what to consider for your brand and what things that you should know as these changes are taking place, even with the other apps that you can incorporate with your brand to have a successful remainder of 2020 and beyond. But if we've not met before, hello. My name is Jessica Phillips with Now Marketing Group and the Relationship Marketing System. And my awesome co-host, he's Mike Gingrich. He's the president of Digital Hill, the co-founder of the popular apps Waftio, Tabsite, and published author extraordinaire. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, doing well, and excited to be here today. And again, social media never changes, right? It's always evolving, and so today, we get to talk about something new that's rolled out that's caught the eye of a number of lots of people here recently. Been more seen on Facebook recently and other places, and all the other updates. There's other good updates too. So if you're not just interested in Parler, you got to stick around because there's some other important things we talk about as well.
A lot of them that we're going to try to get through today. And we already have some amazing people joining in with us. Hello, Louisa. How are you? And hello, Jen. Hello. Good to see you here. Yeah, as you're popping in, let us know in the comments first where you're joining in from. And if you've tried out Parler or not, or what you're thinking about it. We have lots of updates to get through. I'm going to try my best with my voice. If I mute myself, that's because I'm coughing. I'm a little under the weather today, but it's going to be good. It's on all the good vibes. It's going to be great. We're going to get through this. So first, without further ado, let's dive into Parler, the app that has just broke kind of some really big, I don't know, milestones, if you will. Like it was the most downloaded app a week ago that was on the App Store, social media app that was downloaded. Mike, first of all, have you tried it? And what's your first thoughts? And we'll tell everybody a little bit more about what it is if they're not familiar.
Yeah. So when I basically started seeing that kind of trending on Facebook and doing that, I thought, well, I at least better check it out. I gotta stay in touch with these pieces there. So I did go over, and I'm just checking right now to see if it is still okay. It's not number one in the free apps anymore. So that was a time period. It's slid a little bit now, but I did sign up. I was in that time period when I saw, wow, this is number one in the free app store. I better check it out. And then I did, so I downloaded it, got on, and then also, kind of did a little research and just realized, wow, it's been around since 2018, and I had not heard of it. And
2018. We do see.
So anyway, it just took off.
Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that it really took off right around post election in the U.S. time here, and so, to rise up and be number one. I mean, because we're talking is competing with Zoom, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and it was number one in most downloaded.
In no time, we're talking like quadrupling numbers. And I think the election did it some justice for that aspect. We have several people in the comments that said that they just started using it. So yeah, I would love to hear, did you just start using it around election time if you are using it? So good to see you, Deborah. That's my family right there. John.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. How long have they been on? Yeah. Is it a couple weeks, couple months, 2018, all that type of thing? Yeah. Oh, we do. We got some good people here.
Yeah, lots of good people in here. So, yeah. So what it is. Okay, first let's say what they say that Parler is and what the community has been identifying it as. And I have also started using it just recently. So, of course, we always try out some new social apps as they come out just to see, because you never know. You don't want your clients to jump on every shiny new thing that pops up. But I do want to do due diligence in trying it out with an objective point of view, and really give it give it some time to see if I could see the business brand potential. Of course, anything personal use, do do what works for you. There's tons of apps that are out there. But by definition, Parler says that it is really kind of in context a free speech kind of tool. But it says that Parler is a Twitter-style social media platform that first launched in 2018, and it's built around news feeds of accounts. So free speech is kind of that undertone. They want an unbiased alternative to mainstream social networks such as Twitter and Facebook. That's really what caught flack during the election time. Was no matter, of course, we're not getting into politics here, but Twitter and Facebook caught some flack on being biased as it relates to individuals feeling that they could share what they felt was happening during election time or what they felt was accurate, that some things were just being hidden or taken down. A lot of that even came from, President Donald J. Trump, like actually saying this, right? Like he says, fake news a lot, but actually kind of calling some of the tech companies out. So the people that were in that same mindset really started looking for an alternative. And that's when Parler was starting to be shared. And they say that journalists and users have criticized, this is what's in their Wikipedia page, I should say. Journalists and users have criticized the service for content policies that are more restrictive than the company portrays. I should say that journalists and users have criticized Facebook and Twitter also during that time, saying that Facebook and Twitter are kind of that free speech kind of tools, but they feel like it went beyond just truth fact finding, in their opinion, in censoring some things out, to actually having an agenda to kind of put their opinions or what they're sharing in less of an advantage of having kind of a level playing field of being shared. Just the messenger. That's what was being said about other networks, which then Parler being the app that says, hey, we're here for free speech. And that's what our tools around for journalists and individuals to be able to share kind of whatever they want in a Twitter kind of style newsfeed app, to follow journalists, individuals, news stories that they want to connect with in a way that is free, open, and not restricted.
Yep. Yeah. So basically, one of the key differences you've heard us talk about before, that Facebook obviously has an algorithm. And so Facebook tries to determine what kind of information. There's a ton of stuff you could see in your news feed, and Facebook uses an algorithm to try and determine we think this will be of interest to you based on your past interactions. You've liked this kind of stuff, you commented on this kind of stuff, that type of piece there. And so the situation has been that people are feeling like the algorithm is too aggressive, and then they also Twitter would flag stuff too aggressively, that it was determining was fake news, or not a reliable news source. And so I saw that question come up there, and that was whether Parler will allow false facts. And so we have to answer that with saying it could, because it doesn't filter. There is when it says free speech, it says we won't check stuff. We just allow you to post stuff. It's up to you to determine. So Facebook, Twitter, they're trying to kind of help the process by saying, hey, this is definitely false. Let's just identify it that way. Parler is saying no algorithm, no checks. There it is. Whatever you think of it.
And that's the pro
Yep.
and the con. So when I was thinking of pros and cons for Parler, the pro is freedom of speech. Like, how frustrating must it have been and still is for anyone that is wanting and passionately believing in their message and wanting to share it out, and have built a community of followers wanting to hear from them, and they're sharing their belief system out to a network that then says, nope, we're not sharing it with as many people, and or we may be blocking it, and yet we're going to let the opponent's view, opposite view, be shared. It's frustrating, I'm sure, for people, right? So that's the pro, is that Parler doesn't have that. But I also put that that's the con, because unfortunately, the growth of, there's so many examples, and we talked about it here, watching the social dilemma, right? And what can spread very fast like wildfire on social is, conspiracy theories. And many people, I forget the stat, it was like over 50% of people believe conspiracy theories. So outside of just even the election stuff, because that can be bias, right? Depending on how you believe. But even if it was just a conspiracy theory, there's sites like Snopes out there for a reason, because people, unfortunately, when you see it, and some people, if you're sharing it, they are very trusting and could buy into it into an extreme measure of like what they seen with Pizzagate, which was something saying, this, a really horrible thing that is going on, human trafficking with kids, but somebody had shared that, these pizza places were holding kids at the bottom, and it was just one person's thing that they're sharing out. And then next thing you know, these people that were thinking they're joining into something good and passionate show up and do something really aggressive, and that where there was no truth or merit to what was being shared, and people ended up getting hurt. So it's the pro and it's a con, both for this app, in my opinion.
Absolutely, totally agree. There is just that danger, and what we have seen with social media's track record thus far is that people do tend to just, because it's there, believe it. So that's a challenge in that regard. That's so we have the comment here, from Deborah: let the user decide the facts, and that's what Parler is doing. And that's good, and I'm for that. It does put the impetus on the consumer to hopefully evaluate.
Yeah. And it could be alternative facts, right? So yeah, I completely agree with, another comment that's coming in. So the pro of that Parler app, where I could see the powerful benefit, is for journalists that are independent, that are posting commentary on there. And Parler does have built in an upvoting system or a downvoting system, based upon what you feel is, being shared. Is it accurate? Is it the truth? Other people should know. And then you can also echo it. So just to kind of give you context, if you've not used the app, it's one feed where you're posting, and then it goes out to a network of anyone that's following you or following a topic that you say that you're talking about. So you can follow like hashtags and things like that. And then they can echo it. They can upvote it, downvote it, comment it, save it, all of those things within the app. So very kind of similar, in my opinion, kind of like a Reddit upvote kind of thing mixed with Twitter. I don't necessarily see the Facebook aspect of it yet. They do give you a profile, but the one thing that was unique in a pro as well as a con for me with Parler is the pro was that the only way to get a verified checkmark, anybody could, but you have to send in either your driver's license or a passport and a selfie of yourself in order to do so. So they can verify it to you, which I think there's protection in that, using your real name, using your real identity and verifying it. However, on the flip side of that, their terms of service are ridiculous. It kind of goes against what they're saying. If you took some time to read it, one of their terms of service section said that you do not, you will not hold them harmless. And basically, if they would ever get sued over anything, basically they're offsetting the risk and liability to all of the people that have signed up. And that's in the terms of service. So make sure you read that. I will post when we're done here a photo where I've circled some of the things in the terms of service that looked a little sketchy. Granted, all terms of service are, if we read them, we're like, what? Did we just sign away our life? But some of the language in there I just found very unique and concerning, I guess. So in conclusion, my analysis for Parlor is I like the idea, but I think in the wrong hands, it could be dangerous. What I would prefer to see is more pressure, I would say, or just community kind of coming together and using some of the tools that we have and making sure that it truly is false news if proven without an agenda behind it with some of the apps that are there. And I feel like now that we're outside of the election a little bit, that maybe that'll come back around because I feel like they were doing a good job before. But now I'm not so sure. They being Facebook, Twitter, and some of the others.
So I think, and what are they up to now? 10 million? What did you come up with?
Over 10 million.
Total users, 4 million active. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of wrapping that one up from a business perspective. That's your audience there, which is, quite small in comparison to a Twitter or a Facebook, where what is Facebook now? There was, massive amount of overall users, and then active monthly users is still, tremendously hundreds of millions higher than what this is. So again, be aware of that. It's a fairly small audience at this point in time, 4 million. And we did see it spike to number 1. And now in my iPhone, it's showing as number 11 in the App Store. So it's being downloaded less. So suddenly growing less on those pieces. There is no small business advertising mechanism within it, like you do have with Facebook or anything like that, to run an ad that Twitter has, that you can do those types of pieces. So it doesn't have those. So it's going to have a certain audience at this point in time. It's going to have a smaller audience at this point in time. It doesn't have any ad tools at this point in time. But so these are just some things to be aware of from a business perspective. And yeah, I'd like to tackle John's question here. Didn't Facebook come under fire for allowing false facts to propagate? And the answer is yes. So that's what kind of got us to today. Exactly. Is that in the 2016 election and afterwards, they determined that foreign governments were propagating, running ads, creating fake accounts, and sharing false information to stir things. And basically, that was deemed, a problem. And so Facebook put measures in place to try to curb that. So we have that from the 2016 election. Now, it seems to me the same is likely to happen with Parler. There's the potential for that. Now, I guess they're trying to distance themselves from their terms of service, saying, hey, whatever people post, that's not our baby here. We're not going to be held responsible for that. But there is the possibility that, will people, what could happen? Are they free of any hold harmless because of those, that terms of service, when something would be determined this was false, if it is false, because there is no checking mechanism.
Yeah. And I'm not sure who this commenter is, because it must be in a group or something. So please let us know who you are. But it says, do you think it will be dangerous for some businesses who could be considered snake oil salesmen to be on Parler? Exactly. That is one good thing about filtering too, besides just like I shared, like the Pizzagate kind of scandals and things like that, is that also while there still can be snake oil salesmen, if you will, in business sharing posts on the other social channels, there are still more restrictions for certain industries to make sure that it's kind of compliant. But it also is the con of that as well. Like I know people that are, they sell CBD oil, or they sell, and they kind of get lumped into not being able to share freely, right? I have, people that I've chatted with that they sell guns. They're in the gun business, and kind of same thing. So it's all based upon the creators kind of which kind of side they stand on a little bit, where the bias swings, where I can see the need. It can sometimes hurt businesses that are trying to do it right, but also help protect the community at large for the businesses that are trying to do it wrong. So that's kind of what you have to decide, I guess, as an individual, is thinking like, do I feel I have good judgment, and can I go in here because I want to get that alternative news, but also be aware of what else can be slipping through the cracks? And I honestly don't think that brands should jump over there. I don't think they should right now. I don't think that's the vibe that people are flocking there for right now. I feel it is just strictly about news, and it's right now it seems to be a lot of content that's being shared still around the election, regardless of which way you believe, and not so much about business. I feel like people are there as a community talking about news, not necessarily a thing. It's not an app right now that I could see viable for doing business, unless you're a journalist or running for mayor or something for this next campaign. So, I mean,
I would concur. I mean, we're here to talk about it because it's a social media app. We're evaluating it from a business perspective. It did have a growth spurt. However, the current active use case is not necessarily business related, business focused at this point in time. That's where it's at today.
Yep. Personal, do you. Do you choose it? Don't. It doesn't matter. I've tried it out. I'm still there right now, but I'm not quitting Facebook or Twitter to have that replace it by any means. So, I just don't think the community is there and the vibe there right now for what my personal goal is. So that's Parler. Wanted to hit on it. We will be doing a recap just specifically on Parler to give you your own, brand sense from a brand perspective on what's going to, so you can make some judgment calls there, because it has been a hot topic of conversation, as well as some of the updates that are happening on our other favorite channels. So I want to get into those, and starting with Instagram, because they've had quite a few updates since last time we've done our update. So Mike, you want to hit the first one, and we'll keep rolling down this list.
Yeah, I think this one's one more to just be aware of, and that is that Instagram has added a new option, enables users, you and me, to opt out of third-party ad targeting. So that our data use is not tracked in that piece, and you can opt out of that. So that comes up and allows you use data from data partners or not, and that's. I think that's a good thing. So you can opt out of that, and it's kind of follows suit with parent Facebook. They had done that earlier in the year, and so that was called the off Facebook activity tools, and because this is how it works, they use data insights from other apps, other websites to also personalize what they present to you, the algorithm. On there. And so this would be a way for you to kind of opt out of that.
Yeah, so that's on the personal side, right? You can opt out. And on the business side, what this means for you in your brand is to collect your own data. Okay. So like if you're wanting to get specific on your targeting, and in your communication, I recommend having your own data points that you can connect and create and not be super reliant on, hey, Facebook, show me, audiences that look like this, this, and this, and this. Is connect your own data points and say like, okay, I'm tracking on our website people that visited this page specifically. I know based on our CRM, like here, get specifics in your own data that you're collecting on your own home base. So you can go in and target specific individuals if you're, uploading and using Facebook, kind of remarketing, if you will, or get specific on the types of individuals that you want to reach out and connect with without having, reliant, I should say, on Facebook and Instagram to provide this for you. We even had AJ on here on LinkedIn and talking specifics on that. So depending on your goals with your ads, who you're targeting, get your own, make sure that you have your own research and don't be super reliant, because many people are turning off some of these targeting for ads. They're turning off where they can be tracked, or even using different tools in that way. So make sure that you're collecting your own data and also focusing on not just using ads, but growing organically for that repeat referral business and what you can do to get your audience engaged that way, of course, is always the best practice. So Instagram also had another one, which is their layout change. So if you've popped into Instagram recently, which mine just shifted yesterday, actually, and I was like, whoa, what's happening right now? But if you have the app and you've used it recently, you've probably seen that change. They're really pushing to grow Reels. I really think they're trying to rival with TikTok, because TikTok has seen such a steady growth and engagement base. So unlike Parler, where they had that spike, and now we're starting to see it kind of trail down as they're losing momentum, TikTok has not lost momentum of its growth as well as its engagement base. And they're steady, all the legal allegations and things against them. People think it was going to be banned in the US. They're crushing those left and right. And so Instagram is really rivaling with them. And so they've added Reels and Shop tabs to the home screen, and moved Reels where, stories used to be created. And now if you want to create a post or a story, it's like the top right-hand corner of your page or of your app, I should say. So you're almost forced to kind of get into Reels to see what it's like the first time, just based on muscle memory. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so really brought Reels to the forefront, and also don't forget, then brought the shops to the forefront. So those are key things. As we've talked, we had Jen Herman on here, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and that was that was with Reels, I guess. But we were also talking about some of the new store features they've rolled out and how they do that, so that they're again. Instacommerce, they're trying to roll that out more. There's integrations, if you have a big commerce store that has some integrations, it can push to Instagram directly, and you're just going to see more of that continue. And definitely they want to get it out before the big holiday push, and they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking of holiday push, and going back to your comment, Sarah, do I recommend using event pixels on all your website pages? Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything, but definitely like the big events, like filling out a form, your phone number, if somebody's clicking that, if you have a e-commerce site, any event that you think would be important, that is going to tell you more about what a website visitor is looking for and what they're doing on your site, that can help you target then better in your next ad, right? Or not target them, right? So if they're on your website and the first ad that they see is the awareness-based ad, right? Because there should always be kind of three types: awareness, consideration, conversion. And you want the awareness to be if they've never heard of you before, and then they go to your website, and depending on what they're clicking on, then they would see, consideration based ad. And then depending on that, what kind of conversion-based ad that they would see. So you're going to get better results, more specific on the types of ad that's going to convert overall, and just help lessen your cost, give you more data. It's just a win. So definitely I would recommend setting it up and testing it to make sure that it's set up correctly. So we have a guide for that. And some videos on our YouTube channel, actually, that so you can test and it walks you through that process. So how to do that. But yeah, completely agree that Instagram, I mean, they still are doing a great job pushing forward with the evolution, I think, of how people are wanting to consume content. And, you know, with the shop section, that's exactly on point. We talked previous weeks, months ago, how 2020 is measured, like you said, and our last like updates, social media updates on how now they're opening the shop section, even when you click on it, into a new browser window to help to continue that the success of a conversion versus leaving it in that window. So they're moving all those things there to help brands, you as brands, if you're posting something for sale and you're tagging your product in there or integrating it with your cart, to make sure that it's easier for your consumers to find, consume, and take action on your content overall. So I feel like that's a good move by Instagram.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's dive into Facebook then. And by the way, we'll be recapping all this in a blog on our website, nowmarketinggroup.com/blog, with the links so you can dig in more to each of these updates. So if we're going through these fast, don't worry, there will be more info provided. So Mike, you want to talk about the first Facebook update?
Yeah. No, I think the next evolution is here with Facebook and with Watch, and now it is Watch Together. So being able to again join with people on the platform, and they're doing it specifically, kind of testing this out, rolling it out with a new video series by Post Malone. But what's interesting about it is exclusively on Messenger and Instagram. Okay, so. I think that we've seen, those kind of things on Instagram, but to take it to Messenger is a new twist and a further development to one of Jessica's favorite tools.
Yeah, Messenger, yes, always. But yeah, I love it. Okay, so it's all coming to reality now. Like I did the whole talk this year and last year. That was going to be the theme for Social Media Week Lima Unfiltered, but the whole talks have been on dark social and moving things into the inbox, right? But Mark Zuckerberg, he already told us what his plans was. And in 2019, he said the future of social is private, meaning private communities, niche, smaller communities like Messenger, like stories, like groups where people are hanging out because they want Maslow's hierarchy of need, the sense of belonging, staying connected. 2020 has pushed us even further ahead than I think we ever would have been. Just faster because of how now we're using these tools. It was already growing at a rapid rate, but now it's like, it's there. So you have to have a game plan. And Facebook was like perfect timing because now they had not only invested in like Oculus, with creating these augmented reality kind of rooms, which have been set up, right? They now are getting more people comfortable getting into Messenger, playing with the tools in there of being able to use filters and that kind of thing. Now you can share it like a Zoom, right? They are selling Portal, which I have 2 of them, where you can talk hands-free in Messenger with multiple people and make phone calls. All of that's in there. Now they've started doing where you can share your screen, your desktop, even on Messenger. They've already made all these evolutions. It's all moving toward getting people comfortable hanging out in a spot, watching now shows together, which if you've watched Facebook Watch, it'll prompt you, do you want to watch it on your TV or do you want to watch it in a room, right? Like it's prompting us to get us prepared for what I believe is coming very quickly next is AR, VR. You create this reality now for you guys to hang out. They have the dating app there. They have the workspaces there. They have everything already lined up to now we'll have these rooms to hang out and do things as if we're in real life connecting together,
together. But
say
yeah, yeah,
together. It's already there. So I think we'll start seeing more evolution of this. But I love that they're enticing people to kind of come over there using something that's completely on trend, like Post Malone, to kind of filter people in, that it's like his audience that would be most likely to want to test this out first. And then I think we'll see more shows like this that are exclusively on Facebook Watch, like we have with, exclusively on Netflix and exclusively on Apple. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how it's all coming together very quickly now.
yeah.
So
And of course they want to monetize those pieces, so they'll be looking at ways that ads are a part of that. Ads are interjected, or it's going to be creative over the course of time. So I think it's just we're here to tell you this is kind of what's evolving and what's coming, and obviously Facebook's been big on needing to monetize that. To monetize those pieces, they need to give businesses tools to engage with the audience using those pieces.
Exactly. So, as a brand, what this means for you is invest in getting already people into the inbox. Talked about this a lot. Messenger has a ton of settings there. We just got certified in ManyChat where they can help these conversation starters. So don't think about it as marketing though, as much as it is a utility of how you can help people in the inbox. Okay. Or what kind of processes can you help them do faster, smarter, more accessible by using tools like Messenger in order to do it. Then you'll be primarily set up for when things roll out to you that's starting kind of here on grand scale for consumers to get comfortable with, you to be in a perfect position to already be adapted to what's there and can quickly pivot to what's next. And Facebook's really kind of rallying behind businesses too. That's the next update that they rolled out, Startup, where it is all around helping brands, not only helping them with creative tools and ideas and how to grow their business, but also, featuring them more, and really kind of sharing their stories out and making sure that they're having like an accelerator kind of program for different startups and businesses. So I'm going to post a link in here for that as well, and it'll be part of our recap. But lots of cool things happening on Facebook, and we'll definitely make sure to mention all these with the links in the blog, which is these most recent ones that we're talking about that are important for brands. So let's move on. Next app, TikTok.
Yeah. So again, you've heard of it, I'm sure, and whether you're on it or not, or whether you are a consumer but not posting things, it's important to watch. And why is it important to watch? Because it's growing astronomically and has tons of engagement, and they're starting to, from a business perspective, brands are seeing some brands are seeing some success there with their material, what they're doing, and they're sharing. And I think that's continuing to grow, and they're poised to, in next year, top 1 billion users, which would be a monster milestone quickly.
Yeah, really quickly. And their engagement numbers are ridiculous. I don't have the accurate stat.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's geared to engage. It's just wired that way. You
fun.
feel bad to. I mean, it's like it's almost a default.
Yeah,
and that's the way they've created that. Yeah, so that's a powerful.
A mixture of what everyone loves. It's it's creativity, it's authenticity, a lot of it, and it's engagement. So many great things can be done on TikTok from a business perspective, as Mike said. Make sure you're at least watching if you're not posting yet. But I would highly encourage creating an account and just trying some things out. It's kind of like you get a mixture of everything there. There's not a lot of rules except for don't be salesy really there. Be helpful, be engaging, have fun, and your audience will find you. The other thing with TikTok is that they are setting up though. I think they are thinking about the monetization and just how it's growing. They're actually testing right now, just for some users. You may see this. in your stream, but they're creating a version, a section of TikTok that's learn on TikTok. So they'll be bringing in, as part of a $50 million creative fund. So they've got a grant fund for this, and they're investing an additional $250 million to assist with impacts of COVID and how to learn on TikTok, how to bring back some helpful tools for education, whatever that looks like. So they're working with a lot of creators right now that they've picked, and are having them kind of teach special skills and have a learn on TikTok kind of section, if you will. There's a ton. I have saved so many, like, did you know your iPhone can do this section?
Yes, yeah,
Haven't you?
that's
Like,
huge.
holy
Yep,
crap. Like, there's so many
yep.
great things in there. So now they're creating a specific section just for that. So I could definitely see them expanding that. And if you are one that's creating content of value, it could be a learn on TikTok, from the creators. So
Yeah.
cool to see what they're
Can,
doing.
can can we just mention quickly? I don't think we've talked about this before, but on TikTok, the ocean spray, the guy that went viral on ocean spray. What was it with the song? Was it a Fleetwood Mac song,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, that's just an example of the power of that. This was, just a guy getting to work,
Uh-huh.
and taping himself with ocean spray, and it with the Fleetwood Mac song, it took off. I mean, he almost didn't post it. The story's incredible, but ultimately to the point where Ocean Spray got involved with it and began to utilize things off of this, and so it was one of those viral moments. It still is, and Ocean Spray, they weren't doing advertising, like that,
Yeah.
but this was a guy that just took it and it blew up, and they worked with that then. So that was a
That's a
very
good
interesting
point, though,
case
that
study.
you hit on, Mike, is look at what's being created around your product, if you can, or a similar product, to see how your audience or potential audience is responding to your product or service, right? Or something similar. I mean, honestly, it's a genius way of getting inside the minds and the hearts of your audience, of seeing, like, here's how they're responding and telling our story or a similar story, to really help you understand what kinds of content that you can create, or even like the oceans spray example, feature them, right? Like, find some people that are already doing a great job telling stories or being creative, and look at opportunities for you to be able to work with them potentially, and share what they're doing. So just I love that it's bringing creativity back, and I feel like it's there's no just one group on there, right? Where, like, musically, and when TikTok first started, it was definitely a younger audience. Now you see everyone, and I really like it. So
So, and that's key when a platform begins to hit all demographics and all kind of spectrums. It's got some staying power.
yeah, absolutely. So those are just a few of the updates. There definitely are more, especially some of the ones that we even hit on last time with, Pinterest making their shopping guide, and really helping focus on creating shopping guides for their holiday gift guide, excuse me, for trends of what's popular right now, right? And so you can think
Yeah.
about how you can use that, how you can use Pinterest right now if you have a product service that you're trying to sell. They have some really amazing updates. Rights Manager, again, for content creators, making sure that your content has not been stolen, it stays protected, as well as just some additional updates on each of the apps that we talked about last time. We're going to include all those, since we're out of time today, in the recap blog, as well as some fun ones that you may be interested in as well, like Snapchat. For anyone that's woo-woo like me, they have some new updates to their app where they'll astrological profiles you can use to see your connection and alignment. Like, I haven't tried this out yet, but it made me think of when I read this update. Jennifer asked, I was with her in Cabo, and she showed me this app where she just held up her phone into the the sky, and it showed every single star and where it was and named it. So she literally was just like scanning the sky. And so you're able to see, this is the Big Dipper. This is, whatever. That's the moon, that kind of thing. So it was really cool kind of to look at without being like in a planetarium or having a telescope. So I'm wondering if it's like that, but I haven't tried it out yet. So more fun updates and business updates as well as links to all the ones we discussed will be included in our blog recap at nowmarketinggroup.com/blog tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, Mike, any last finishing thoughts?
Hey, the times they keep a changing, so stay with us. We'll try to keep bringing the goods here to keep you posted on these different things. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And yes, Doreen, like definitely go back and check out about Parlor. Would love to hear your feedback as well as all of you catching the replay. Let us know what you think about the app, and we may just include some of your feedback into the blog recap. Again, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. We'll see you next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See ya.
Take care, folks.